So I remember laughing quite a bit at Mama's Family when I was younger. It was a hilarious show. Actually, kind of changed the business a little bit in the way it was handled in syndication. But you know, as we were talking just over the side with Vicki Lawrence, it was fun to recognize that there was actually multi-generational recognition of her as an actress, going back to the Carol Burnett Show where she won an Emmy, and then. She's a very, very good comedian. If you were in the Big Tent at all, you may have noticed that she was getting quite a few laughs. But the thing that I learned that was fascinating was that when we showed the video walls, the intro piece that was done, the woman singing the song was Vicki Lawrence, and it was a #1 hit on the country charts. It's not that many people who can be that multidimensional in their talent. We're talking about acting, comedy, and of course a #1 hit on the recording charts. You know, when she has a chance, I'd go ahead and I'd love it if we could welcome Vicki Lawrence to the stage to answer some of your questions.
Hi. Fire away.
I have a couple of questions. The first one is, with that great record that you had and smash record and sold hundreds of thousands of copies, but in all seriousness, why wasn't there a follow-up that all these years that has sold just as well?
Oh, thank you. Well, I was married to a guy that wrote that song for like 10 minutes. And it's, I would say, arguably the only good thing that came out of an extremely dysfunctional marriage. That, and I got the dog. And it's just kind of a funny little sort of a bittersweet chapter in my life.
Okay, very good. And also, I wonder if you could address today the media landscape has changed so much since when you were doing Carol Burnett with Netflix and this, that, and then internet and social media. You have any advice for young folks who are trying to break into show business today?
Oh, Lordy. I don't know how you do that. You know, I wrote fan letter to Carol. Now you would tweet her and she wouldn't answer because she's not on Twitter. I don't know. I don't know that I would choose it nowadays. It's hard. It's, because I played Miley Cyrus's grandma on television. Everybody asks me what's going to happen to her like I'm supposed to know. And I just think she's done first of all, she's incredibly talented. She's done a remarkable job of navigating away from being a Disney star, which I think was her goal. She's done a pretty good job of doing that. And in the end, I think it's her talent that we will all remember. She's really good. But I mean, the minefield that they have to navigate now, young people, in this business. Every word that comes out of your mouth, everything you wear, everything you do, I don't know that I would choose it. I was allowed to grow up and be an idiot, and people didn't have to look at all of it. So it's tough.
On that note, back to Mama's Family and everything you did back in the 70s and 80s, but now, fast forward to now, in this room, there's probably more people that recognize you from Miley Cyrus's show than Mama's Family. So what's that like for you?
She's ruined my life, actually. I can't buy Girl Scout cookies anymore because the minute I order the Thin Mints, they all go, "Oh my God, it's Mama!" So she's kind of ruined my life. But I tell you a funny story. When I spoke in the Big Tent about my dog Hannah, my Labrador Retriever, that I got in probably 1995, maybe. And well before Hannah Montana. And Hannah Montana happened, my agent called me. Our daughter was home from college, and she was doing her PhD up in Missoula. And she and I were road tripping back up there. And my agent caught us somewhere like Utah and said, "Okay, it's going to be huge. It's going to be on the Disney Channel. She's incredibly talented. They want you to play the grandma. It's called Hannah Montana. What do you think?" And I said, "Well, I'm on my way to Montana, and my dog's name is Hannah, so I think I have to do this, don't you think?" But yeah, and that was a really fun experience, a really good experience. But anyway, so Hannah, when she was dying, she got melanoma on her paw of her foot, and I was walking her one day when she was old, and she didn't like to be on the leash, and she was such a beautiful dog that I never bothered to put her on the leash. So we're walking home. Hannah Montana has now been on the air, and I see this family coming down the street on their bicycles. Dad's in the front, and the two kids are behind him, and Mom's bringing up the rear. And I calculate Hannah's speed, and I think, okay, well, we'll make it across the street before they come with the bikes. So we cross the street, and as we step up on the curb, Dad rides by on his bike and goes, "Girls, on your right, Hannah Montana's grandma." Like I was Old Faithful or something, or, you know, she's ruined my life. Do I ever, say again?
Do you ever get political when you speak, or do you try to avoid that route?
Do I get political? Well, you know, they said to me when they booked me here, they said there's going to be like a lighter entertainment tent, and there's the serious political tent. But we would love for you to just do a little comedy. And I said, I'm just going to say I think this year the political stuff could be in the comedy tent. But boy, I'd love to hear some of that political stuff today, wouldn't you? Mama on the road has a few things to say about everybody. Washington, Hillary, Donald, all of it. Yes?
I'll piggyback on that. I know that you, first of all, can I just call you Mama just for like 2 seconds? I'm a huge fan of Mama's Family.
Okay,
and my mom
thank
said
you.
it was okay. She said, only for 2 minutes can she be your mama. I said, all right. But on the heels of Donald Trump, what we just found out here recently, I know you go around, you speak at a lot of women's conferences. Any thoughts about the comments and remarks that were made behind alleged closed doors between him and Billy Bush?
Do I have any comment?
Anything you'd like to add?
Well, I think I'm embarrassed for America that this is the best we have to throw up there for president, and I think he's an embarrassment to good guys everywhere. That's what I think.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Good morning. I enjoyed your remarks in the main tent.
Thanks.
And I especially enjoy the promos and seeing you dropping in as the mama character in MeTV. And I'm of the demographic where I remember the original shows to an extent, and so to see them remixed now is just a wonderful thing, so thank you for that.
God bless me, TV.
Yes, absolutely, I love it. You did make some remarks in the main tent about your bout with depression. It just kind of came out of nowhere and lifted the same way. So how hard is it for a public personality to deal with depression, and then what brought you out of it?
Well, I don't know what brought me out of it. As I said, it was 3 years, and just all of a sudden one day I felt like I wanted to laugh again. I didn't do any drugs. I'm kind of proud of that. I got through it on my own by sweating and working out and reading and sticking with it. And Hannah, she was largely responsible for helping me through it a lot. She was like the only one that made me smile. And my husband was a rock, I will say that. Tough for him. But it's, I wasn't public when I was going through it. I sort of disappeared under the covers, if you will. Yeah.
I'm going to be redundant.
Okay.
I wish I'd gotten up here before you. First, let me say, you set the standard for me as a girl. We were only allowed to watch the Carol Burnett Show because my mom didn't want to waste a perfectly good color TV on like I Love Lucy. So,
Thank goodness.
And all the women in my family, we know the lines. We still watch the show, and you set the standard because you guys showed a little girl that women can be funny, even physical, and be entertaining, and that's it set me off on the career that I have. So anyway, thank you for that. I wanted to ask why you shared about your depression. I know it resonated with a whole bunch of people in the room, which is why she asked about it. Yeah, but why do you share that such private?
Oh, I just think it's good to share.
Good to hear.
I mean, it's good to
hear.
know that you're not the only one going through it.
Yeah.
And I don't think just because you're on television you have a perfect life.
So you shared it for us.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm a sophomore in high school, and I was just wondering if you could say one thing to young people today to inspire them to chase after their dreams and reach their goals and overcome problems they have in their life, such as depression. This is a major issue even today. So what would you say to young people to inspire them?
What would I say to young people to inspire them? Gosh. Find what you love, practice it, so that when the opportunity arises, you're ready. And get off the phone for a minute and actually talk to mentors and older people who might be able to help you through some of those darker times, easier than Twitter can.
Hi, I'm at the same high school as her. I'm a senior. What encouragement do you have for women trying to kind of rise up in the world of comedy?
Be funny, do it, practice it, every chance you get, and be prepared. When the break comes, be prepared. Just like a Girl Scout.
You've talked a lot about your dog, Hannah, so I was just wondering, so I have the spelling correct. Do you spell it with an H at the end of the name?
H-A-N-N-A-H.
And did you take her on tour when you were first starting your sketch? Because you talked about how she...
No, I lost Hannah. We lost, I said she had melanoma,
Right.
which was amazing to me. I'm like, how does a black girl get melanoma on the bottom of her foot? It was just devastating to me. But I guess it's fairly common. And we were lucky with Hannah because they had just released there's a shot that they're giving to people for melanoma. And that kept her around for 2 more years. But she was gone by the time I started doing, almost the same time I started doing my road show.
Okay, thank you.
But we have another lab now.
What's her name?
Her name is Molly. She's a yellow lab. And Hannah was black. And then we rescued a chocolate.
Oh, wow.
Lost her to bone cancer. And now we have Molly, who we rescued when she was 5. Whose family gave her up when they lost their home in the when the housing market crashed. So we've had her for about 4 or 5 years now.
Wow. Do your dogs tend to tour with you then?
No, they don't get to go on tour. No.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it?
One last question. What's your impression? Have you ever been to this?
You again?
Have you ever been to this event or to Bakersfield before?
I
What's
have
your
not. I
impression of the
said
two?
born and raised in Southern California, never been to Bakersfield.
Well, it has a pretty bad reputation.
It has a
I'm from LA as well.
A bad reputation?
Yeah, I mean,
For
when I moved here,
what
people
reason?
thought I was nuts. People just think they're like, oh, I've driven by that on Interstate 5, and I'm like, no, you were 20 miles away. That's not Bakersfield. We're here in Southwest Bakersfield. What's your impression of the town and this
Well, I haven't really been to the town. I mean, this is where I've been. But this is an amazing event. I'm thrilled to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Pleased to be the opening speaker.
For the youth interested in getting in film and television, how would you encourage them to do that?
For who's getting into film?
Teenagers.
Teenagers?
If they want to get into film and television, how would you encourage them to do that?
I guess they have to audition. And as I said, try and practice your craft everywhere you can so that you're ready when the break happens. Yeah. Yeah.
Good morning. I don't know
Good
if
morning.
you talked about Tim Conway or not, but I missed part of your monologue. But how indeed a pleasure was it working with Tim during those years?
Well, I've always said you don't really work with Tim, you work near him. Tim, of all of us, was always in the back building something with the prop man or rewriting his lines, or he is a character. He'd been fun. I mean, it was such fun. I'm working on a little television show now, and everybody, all the young people on the set are like, what was it like, the Carol Burnett Show? It was magical. It was, I call it the Emerald City. It's a very hard place to get back to. It was another time. It's not like that anymore. It's just not. And it never will be. It was very special. Is that it? Thank you all. Thanks so much.